So, Hamjambo. Did I get it right? If the prof said it was okay, then I'm in a good place. Karibuni Sana, welcome to everybody here in the room and online as well to this really important and exciting event. And it's really great to see so many people here today. As Mahaki said, this is part of the Kenya-UK season, where we're trying to do collaboration across the whole range of arts, of creativity, of culture between Britain and the UK. And we selected Kenya from amongst all the countries in the world because it has such a lively, such a vibrant arts creative community, and that's what we see here today. And that's been proved through the season, through the architecture at Venice, which we talked about, through the Nairobi Book Festival, held here just a few months ago, but through fun things like music, dance, acting, drama, and much more. And I really do encourage you, please get involved, get engaged in the programme, which carries up until November. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all the people at the British Council who've worked incredibly hard on building that festival to life. So if I could embarrass them by asking Tom Porter, Sandra Cheggy and Makami Kuino to stand up and to get a round of applause. They've worked incredibly hard to bring events like this to life. And for today, I'd like to thank as well the National Museums, but also the PS as well, who has supported us all the way through this programme. And I think if we can give them a round of applause as well. So I've talked about culture, I've talked about arts, I've talked about creativity, but we very much wanted culture and heritage to be at the heart of the programme, and that's why we're here today. Because as you all know much better than me, the vibrancy, the energy of Kenya's creative scene today, that's because of the cultures, the heritages, the tradition that you have, and how you bring them to life in our cultural work today. And that's very much what we're trying to do here at the season. That's part of much broader work that we're trying to do on cultural protection. Ruth talked about the Cultural Protection Fund, which is a worldwide programme between the British government and the British Council. It operates in, I think, about 20 countries with 56 projects. But it's really lively here in East Africa, where we've spent about £8 million on cultural protection in recent years. And here in Kenya, in the last round, we had more bids, more expressions of interest than we did from anywhere else in the whole world. And I think that says something about the energy that we have here in Kenya. So I think you should all give yourselves a round of applause now. I should say as well that we talk about the positives of culture, but we know that for us, Britain here in Kenya, there are difficult aspects as well. And we're trying to talk about those much more openly and much more honestly, maybe, than we have done in the past. So in December, the PS and I were here at the National Museum, where I handed over to President Ruto British archives of the most sensitive sources, the most difficult issues, intelligence reports, political reports, and others from Kenya's independence struggle, so that Kenyan researchers here in Kenya at the National Archives can access those and use those to keep telling Kenya's story here today. But on cultural protection, there's a risk that sometimes culture and heritage appeals to old people like me. And I'm very glad to say I feel very old today, surrounded by young people. And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to bring young people, we wanted to bring technology, and to make this much more vibrant. As it's really important that culture and heritage isn't something that we remember from our grandparents, but something that the current generation interprets and does differently today. And as Ruth says, that we use new technologies to tell old stories in different ways, and we keep these traditions alive. And with a professor just before, I was talking about the work he's doing with the Bajuni community, which I saw for myself when I was down in Mombasa recently, of a culture which has an amazing richness of stories, of culture, of songs, of poetry, but is under threat, as I saw for myself when I was in Somalia for 2 years. But through technology, through programs like this, we're helping to keep that tradition alive, make it part of education, and make it part of the younger generation. So I wish you all well today. We want to use today to build bridges, to build culture, to bring British and Kenyan ideas together, to get the most out of them, and we hope you all have a great day doing that. Thank you all very much. And it's now my great pleasure to introduce the Principal Secretary, who's been a huge advocate and fan of this project, P.S. Bashir.